What's up guys and welcome back to the channel. The final season of Star Wars The Clone Wars has been epic to say the very least, with last episode Shattered showing us the commencement of Order 66 and the dreaded order from Ahsoka's point of view. In a recent interview, Dave Filoni, the co-creator of The Clone Wars along with George Lucas, had some really interesting comments that he made about Anakin Skywalker, and how he wanted to be reverent to the character's story in Revenge of the Sith, and not alter it too drastically at all, but rather build upon it. Comments that I definitely thought warranted a video, as it gives us some hints of what's to come in the final episode of The Clone Wars, as well as the mindset of Dave Filoni when making these final episodes, and how important they are to the character of Anakin, even though he may not be physically on screen for a lot of it. Dave Filoni said this about Anakin Skywalker and his story up until this point, as well as how it correlates directly with the Clone Wars finale. I was trying to get at answering what Ahsoka's story was about, what Rex's story was about, giving those a shape. George covered Anakin's story in the film, so I've tried to always work in support of that. But then also give a point of view on it that comes from these lesser known characters that know Anakin, or other characters that are around him, while not changing the nature of what George's message for Star Wars was in Anakin's path. I'm trying to give a big perspective on the Jedi in this war that they fought, and how the galaxy up and became the Empire, in greater detail than had ever been done before. Dave Filoni was then asked how the finale of the Clone Wars was in relation to the finale of Revenge of the Sith, and how his story plays a part in that film. There's nothing that I showed that wasn't something that I learned from watching the film or from George. I feel a lot of what I've brought to light is actually already in the structure of the films themselves, and what is said about the Jedi in the films, and how they begin to believe their ability to use the Force is somehow limited. Their vision is clouded. I wanted to tell a story that coincided with frames and people that weren't in Revenge of the Sith. Answering the questions, where were these guys? Ahsoka seemed like she was important, so she was invited to join the Sith. Where was Rex? I felt like that needed an answer, because they were obviously such a big part of Anakin and Obi-Wan's life, and I wanted to give them that answer. Again though, the key line here is that Dave Filoni was not wanting to change the message or the nature of what George Lucas's idea was for Anakin and his path. Rather, George Lucas already told the story of Anakin Skywalker. This is the story of the repercussions of the decisions that he makes in Revenge of the Sith. Nonetheless, at the end of this, according to Dave Filoni, we will all see Revenge of the Sith very differently. I would venture a guess that we will see Anakin Skywalker or Darth Vader in the final episode of the Clone Wars. But again, we need to keep in mind that this story is not about Anakin and Obi-Wan. Their stories were told in the films. But what are your guys' thoughts on this and this super interesting interview with Dave Filoni, where he talks about how important this final season of Clone Wars is? I would love to hear what you guys have to think about this in the comments down below. As always, my friends, thank you guys so much for watching. May the Force be with you, and have a great day.